What up, Tube? Today is Wednesday, March 27th, I think. It is my day off today to down here at downtown LA right now, cruising around, trying to find some parking. Brought my mom down here to get some merchandise for her swap meet business. Plus, I came to pick up some supplies. I went to a supply house already, picked up some items that we needed for the shop. But I'm gonna bring you by right now. I'm gonna tell you a little story about how I got my shop and how I got my shop. We'll start off with how I got my shop and how I became a barber. Okay, so we'll start off with how I became a barber. As you guys know, or if you guys don't know, I am a third generation barber, which means my grandfather was a barber, my father was a barber at a time, my uncle, which was my barber mentor, was a barber. I am now a barber. My daughter's a barber. She's fourth generation. So in our family, barbering is kind of runs in the family. Now, did I become a barber young? No. I became a barber already older. I think I was 31 when I became a barber. So I've been in the game for a while. I'm 48 years old. So I've been in the game 17 years already. So it's not my first rodeo. I've been here for a while. But did I get started like some of these youngsters? No, by no means at all. I have barbers right now that have been working for me for 4 years, and he's barely turning 21, so it's a big difference. I was around the barber business a lot because my grandfather, so I used to go to his shop a lot. I used to always go to my uncle's shop, so I seen the barber business growing up. I never really wanted to be a barber. It wasn't until I ran out of at that time I was in the best place in my life, so I ran out of choices and things I had to do. I tried to become a computer technician, and I was actually pretty good at it, but I had already messed up other parts of my life that weren't allowing me to continue in that field. So I had to stop that, and that's when I took up barbering. And it was only my father's persistence. My father always used to make it sound like it was a great job. It's a great job. You would like it. You would love it. And I'm like, nah, that's not for me. That's not for me. I never wanted to do it until I finally one day I took him up on it, and he actually helped me out, signed me up for barber school. I remember that. I had just gotten out of rehab. Yes, rehab, and he helped me out. Yeah, what I'm walking through right now. Walking through this little alley right here in downtown LA. Look at this, piñatas everywhere. And I'm over here vlogging, telling you guys my story. I'm walking around, waiting for my mom to get done. Check out all the stuff right here. It wasn't really nothing fancy. It was an adult school. It was mostly cosmetology. There wasn't too many barbers there. There was only like 10 barbers in the whole school. So the majority of the school was all cosmetologists. So it was primarily it was a cosmetology school, but they had some barbers, which was us. So when I got out of barber school, it wasn't like I was seasoned, I really didn't know how to cut hair. I knew how to pass the test. That's all I knew. So I really wasn't seasoned at cutting hair. I mean, I did the most haircuts while I was there, but it wasn't the same. When you go to other barber schools, you get a lot more hands-on. Where I came out, it wasn't like that. So when I got out of there, I was very, very green. But I did pass my test first time around. So my first time working at a barbershop was actually with my uncle. He gave me my very first job. That was coming right out of barber school. The very next day I started working with him at his shop, and and I stayed with him for about a year and a half. A year and a half I worked with him. It was great. I loved it. I learned a lot of things from him. I learned a lot what to do and a lot what not to do. It's funny what you learn from the old guys, but you know what? We're working with the old cats, man. It taught me a lot about the game. It taught me a lot about being a barber and being the best barber that you can be. Just the old school methods of shaving and stuff. I remember one of the old cats that I worked with him. Oh man, he just knew so much. He had so much knowledge about the barber game, and he was so proud to be a barber. And that's when I really started accepting the fact that, this is great, man. I love being a barber. I love being a barber. I love what I do. I wake up for it. I sleep. I think. Even when I'm not working, I'm thinking about it. So, I mean, that's just a passion that I carry for this. And, and it's not something that I grew up knowing that I had. I found it later on in life. I found it after I got into the game, And you know, thanks. I always thank my dad, and the success that I have in my shop now. I wish that my pops was here to see it. I wish my pops was here to enjoy it with me, but my pops passed away 12 years ago. You know, actually got it before I even got my shop. But he was always a big instrumental part of it. You know. Because when I got out of barber school, I remember, man, I didn't know how to fade. I couldn't fade for nothing. I remember the first 2 years that I worked with my uncle, I mean, I knew what a fade was. I knew the steps, but I knew my fades weren't coming out good. And until I worked to another shop. I started working at another shop. It was called Mario's Barbershop. Mario's was cool. I mean, like, Mario taught me how to fade. He's a bicep barber, and he just, you know, he's the one that showed me how to fade the right way. The way I fade today, if I was to go back and see how he fades, I guarantee you that I'd probably fade the same way. And from Mario's, I went to another shop. It was called Big Boy's Barbershop. Big Boys, I learned a lot more because there he trusted me with his keys, trusted me with his shops. I became a shop manager, and you know, I learned a lot about being a manager, about running a barbershop, not just working at a barbershop. There's a big difference, you know. And I learned a lot from him, and that's the shop that I left when we opened up Big Al's. And I'm gonna get into the story of how I got Big Al's and why Big Al's exists today, you know. And Big Al's is well, you know, it was an idea of mine too, but at the time I wasn't in the place to open my own shop, and really I didn't know what to do, what it'd take, how much money it would take. But I had a buddy of mine who, so this good friend of mine, my friend Walh, he was a customer of mine too. You know, our families have always been friends, and so he came up to me while he was a customer of mine, and he was always telling me, "Come on, Big Al, let's open a shop, let's open a shop." He's you know, you got it to do it, and he always believed in me, and he's the one that came to me and told me, like, let's open a shop, we'll give it your name, I'll put up all the money, it'll be my shop, and then when the time comes, I'll sell it to you. I mean, what did I have to lose? I mean, it was the greatest deal ever, you know. All I had to do was risk my reputation, go in there and try it out, see if it would work out. And eventually it did, you know. It worked out great, and he kept his word. After 4 or 5 years, he stole it to me, and then that's a different story right there. Once it became mine, you know, it was a you know, proud moment for me. I'm a shop owner. But the story of how I got Big Al's is a whole story that starts up, you know, 5 years ago when I became the owner. Because when I became the owner is when I had to when I had to learn really the most I have to know about business. And that's the most important thing that you guys have to know. To own a shop is not just having the money to open it and that's it. It's about being ready. You have to be credibility ready. You know, you have to have credit. You have to be ready to be there 7 days a week. You know what I mean? You have to be there to, you know, give up going places and doing things, you know, because that's what it's going to take to be a shop owner. It's a big task, you know. So now I have the opportunity to buy my shop. Shop's already mine because it has my name, you know. I kind of built up the customer service there, the clientele, you know, but now it has to have my name, so now I gotta purchase it off my friend, you know. And that was a different story. That's the hardest part of the whole story, is having to get that loan. You know, what I had to learn about business. Knowing about business is a different story. Getting a business loan is like no other. So getting the business loan was the hardest thing possible. You know, it took me almost a whole year of trying to figure out how to get a business loan. Although I had perfect credit, it didn't mean anything, because although you have perfect credit, you have no money to show that you're making any money, you know, because I wasn't the owner of the shop. So I had to show that I was able to take over and continue it being successful, because it was already successful, you know. So I think this is what I had one thing on going on my side, that the shop was already successful. So the only thing I had to do was figure out how to get this business loan. And then came the idea of a business plan. If you guys don't know what a business plan is, inform yourself, because that's what you're going to need when you're going to go apply for a business loan. Can't get a business loan without getting a business plan. And me trying to write my own business plan took me about 6 months of me trying to write it myself, till I finally figured out that I needed help. And I went somewhere and they wrote it up for me, and you know, and with a proper business plan and a proper idea, presenting it to the bank was much better. Guess what? I get approved for my loan. I get my business plan. Everything's in order. I'm ready to take over, but they won't give me all the money. They only give me half of what I need because they're not totally believing me, so they only gave me 50% of that money. So I had to go at that point is liquidate everything that I had in order to get the whole amount to purchase the shop. And ever since then, I mean, everything, the rest of the story is history. I mean, we've been in business now 9 years. We opened in 2009, September 11th. So this year is going to be our 9th year. Next year will be our 10-year anniversary. And I'm actually very, very proud of that. I mean, we're now kind of our staple in our city, you know. When people come to Azusa, people that lived in Azusa and left Azusa come back to Azusa. They know they need to come to Big Al's to get a haircut. You know, it's awesome. I love it. And you know, guys, for you guys that out there that want to be shop owners and stuff like that, I'm not trying to scare you guys away. I'm just giving you the heads up that there's more to it, and keep yourself informed. You young guys that are going to barber school and are barely learning about this game, you know, get good at this game first, and at the meantime, you know, prepare yourself credit wise, you know, because you can't have a shop if you have no credit. You know, start preparing yourself by paying taxes. You know, file your tax return every day. Don't just not file a tax return, because then you're not showing that you're making money. Remember, it doesn't matter how much money you make if you can't prove that you make that money. You can't go buy a house. Even if you make $100,000, you can't go buy a house unless you show it on paper, and that's by filing a tax return. So eventually you have to get on that and start filing that tax return. That's your tip for the day. But that's my story of how I got Big Al's. And you know, somebody asked me, like, how do you keep it going successful? You know, and I think it is customer service, guys, and providing the best haircuts that you can, and creating a great environment where people can come get a comfortable haircut, and you know, shoot the shit with your barbers, and you know, have a good time getting a haircut and get a great haircut, and just be there for your customers. You know, customer service is everything, guys. We're there for our customers, not our customers are there for us. You have to be there for them. When they need you, you need to be available. You know, at my shop, we don't do appointments. It's all walk-ins. So, like, if you're not there, you're not gonna make the money. You know, you have to be there. You readily have to be there. My customers love me because they know that I'm there the hours that I'm supposed to be there, and that's always run my business like that. And that's the way you got to run your business. Even if it's not your business, that's the way you got to run your shit. Do it the right way. Well, my story is, you know, when somebody gives you a chance, sometimes you just got to jump on it, guys. And another thing is, you know, it doesn't matter where you go to barber school, or, you know, it doesn't matter. As long as you get your license, you go in there, work hard, get a good work ethics, you know, get a good work ethic. You know, look at your top earner in your shop and follow his work habit. You know, watch how he is. If he gets there early in the morning, then you need to get there early in the morning. You know, it's all about putting in the footwork and doing the work to be the best barber that you can be, so you can build that clientele, so you can make a lot of money. And you know, if you guys want to be shop owners, hey man, more power to you. It's every barber's dream should be to be a barbershop owner. Why not, you know? But that's it for this vlog, guys. I'm just walking around right here downtown. My mom's almost done. I just wanted to share my story with you guys. Tomorrow I'm back in the shop. I bought that T outliner that I told you guys about. I'm gonna modify it, make a video out of it, and once I'm done with that, guess what? I'm gonna raffle it off to one of you guys, to one of my subscribers. But first, we need to get to 300. 300, I'm gonna give you guys a modified GTX. I need 300 subscribers before I give that bad boy away. But I'm gonna be coming out with that video on how to modify it and skeletorize it. But I'll catch you guys mañana.